Hello, everyone. It is time for the main event. Welcome to the Handed Down Beatdown podcast. I am your lead commentator, Alex, and joining me, as always, is my co-commentator, Cobra. And hopefully, we get some more people in here as we go on with the show. But what's going on, Cobra? How are we feeling tonight?
Well, Alex, we're feeling pretty good. It's always an honor to be a part of this tag team with you. Um, it's always a pleasure once again as we step into this ring.
Oh, definitely 100%. First topic of discussion is now that the John Cena retirement tour is behind us. He is retired as of December 13th, as he did lose to Gunther, tapping out. We look to the future of 2026 and the next retirement tour, which I believe is going to be former TNA superstar, New Japan superstar, NWE superstar. Currently, AJ Styles is one of the select many that are retiring next year that could go on a tour next year. What are your thoughts on John Cena's retirement tour and his career as a whole, being Grand Slam champion for the first time to winning the IC championship?
So, uh, I'm gonna start off with his career. John Cena's career has been, if I were to rank it, it is one of the best careers of any wrestler. Um, now, and it was a long career. It was over 20 years, over 20-year career in the ring. Spending time in OVW as the prototype, actually training at the WCW power plant, which that's kind of interesting. Fun fact, because he was actually an extra, a blink and miss it, in the critically acclaimed, in quotations, WCW movie Ready to Rumble. Blink and you'll miss it. He was in there. Um, but yeah, John Cena had a great career. Now, he wasn't always liked because, let's face it, sometimes John Cena's shtick would get kind of old, if that makes sense. Like it was like it was the memes were getting stale. And then all of a sudden you started to see that, oh hey, he's actually good. Then he broke into acting, and some of the things he were in, uh, you know, weren't really the greatest. When he broke out of WWE's microscope, if you will, or rather the WWE spotlight on the film, I should say, you then started to see that, oh shit, he has range. And then, of course, Peacemaker would seal the deal, in Suicide Squad. Um, but the other thing that also helped John Cena as a whole, I believe, turn his entire career over is we started to hate the fuck out of The Rock. That was the big one. Dwayne, Rock the Dwayne's, Rock the Dwayne, Rock the Dwayne son, he was just, he was starting to reveal his flaws. Because Fast and Furious is, with his feud with Vin Diesel, he had his, we found out that it was leaked into his contract that he's not allowed to lose a fight and or die in a movie. That was leaked. His Instagram is all hawking his companies, Papa Twee, his tequila, his supplement company, his, whatever have you. The fact that we all knew that build that he had was on steroids.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you could not fake that. That body was, especially when you look at The Rock now, he's lost a fuck ton of mass. So, The Rock definitely became unlikable. Now, this year, 2025, on the road to the end of John Cena's on the road to the end of John Cena's career. The Royal Rumble, he lost that. Then he vowed he will win the 17th title. Elimination Chamber. He wins Elimination Chamber. Cody Rhodes tells Rock to go fuck himself. John Cena turns heel. And it was the greatest heel turn ever up until Travis Scott.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't forget about that. And
Yeah. Travis Scott. And Travis Scott damn near destroyed the WrestleMania main event. He blew out Cody Rhodes' eardrum. All right?
Yeah, it's not everyone can be Bad Bunny in that industry.
Yeah, not every celebrity can be Bad Bunny or Nathan Emil. All right? So sometimes you'll get a Mickey Rourke or Travis Scott. But then of course he wins the 17th championship. The heel turn isn't cooking. It isn't working. We don't want to boo John Cena. We still don't. Because unlike famous union busting racist Hulk Hogan, we actually like John Cena. He's a good person. He does a lot of good things. He's on the advertisement for McDonald's. Wishing you a good breakfast whenever you get your McGriddle.
Well, yeah, he's the king of Make-A-Wish wishes. I mean,
yes, yeah, he is the king of Make-A-Wish kids. And of course, then he has that match with R-Truth, which was a banger, and then he starts to slowly slide out of the heel turn. Which then of course there was an unresolved storyline with The Rock, which would never happen because Rock lost a lot of mass. Then of course John Cena started to, go through the greatest hits. Had that amazing match with AJ Styles, throwing out references and callbacks to many of his opponents. It was excellent. And then Saturday night's main event at Washington, D.C. Thank God that two famous women respecters were not in attendance. Although one you could say made sense to possibly be in attendance, and that would be famous women respecter Vince McMahon.
I think it's Brock Lesnar for a second.
Yeah. Well, the other one was Pumpkin Spice Palpatine, but less that asshole comes into any event, the better. But so they have the match against Gunther. Jesse Ventura is on the table. He says, yeah, he won 17 times as a champion, but he lost 17 times as a champion. Typical heel. But then the match with Gunther happens, and that match was pretty good, but I don't think anyone expected the ending.
No, because he tapped out nonchalantly. He was like, "Oh, I give up." I was like,
"Well,
what?"
I listened to the podcast after with Cody Rhodes. Okay, I did listen. There was an explanation to why John Cena at the end decided that instead of struggling and passing out, just said, "You know what? I'm just gonna smile and tap out." He basically equated it to basically he treated it as a dying man content with life and just passing on, if that made sense. And as it could have been presented a little bit better, but is what it is. There were a lot of people there in a crowd that you didn't expect. Haku was there. The toughest man in wrestling, the one wrestler you don't want to fuck with, Haku was there. You know, Kurt Angle was there. Elias was there. Uh, Obviously, we had a cameo with Joe Hendry, but not, in the John Cena match. He basically knocked out the Miz with a standing ovation. But yeah, I would say overall, his career was the his career was great. His ending, yeah, no. I'm just gonna say there were better ways to end a match, better ways to end a career. Um, case in point, Sting. Sting ended his career on top, but he knew it was done. Which, hey, you win some, lose some.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As someone who grew up past the Attitude Era, in the like the early to mid 2000s, I didn't really watch young John Cena when he confronted Kurt Angle and be like, "What do you have to beat me? Ruthless aggression." I didn't. I've seen the video, I've seen the match, but I grew up with PG era John Cena all the way up until his heel turn earlier this year in 2025. I've always liked him. I had the wristbands, I had the merch, the championship belts. I did all the moves. I was a big, you can't see me. I was a master John Cena fan growing up. I loved him. Him and Rey Mysterio were one of the few wrestlers that when I flipped on wrestling was like, I want to watch this and be a fan of this no matter what people tell me it's fake. I don't care. You can't tell me it's fake because I'm going to believe it's real. I was a
It
big wrestling fan growing up, and watching his career, his time at tour made me very emotional because I grew up believing how story to respect, believing that
yeah,
he was going to be on top one day and be in the greatest of all time category as a Hall of Famer. And I think he will be now with the Grand Slam Championship, with Hall of Fame matches, with Bray Wyatt WrestleMania. Even though that was kind of a circus act of a spectacle match, but it was still amazing to watch between Bray Wyatt and him because Bray Wyatt was on top at that time with his feud with Randy Orton and him being Universal Champion, and then John Cena stepping in made Bray Wyatt get massively over in that WrestleMania match. So when he turned heel, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I didn't like him at first. I was booing him at home watching it. I hated him. I hated him. He was talking to the fans saying, "Oh, I don't care about you. I don't care about what you think. No one cares about me anymore. You all be quiet."
I didn't boo John Cena's heel turn. I didn't boo him when he was a heel. On the heel turn, I said, "Well, it's about time. Let's see what you got." But
Yeah.
when the heel, when he was a heel, it almost seemed like he was desperate, if that makes sense. Like he was desperate to make you hate him to be the heel, and we just couldn't. So I'm like, if I were a wrestler and John Cena had done, we're like a month into this heel run, if that made sense.
Yeah.
I would have, not I wouldn't have pulled the R-Truth route, which was you're my hero. Why are you like this? I would be like, for someone who's trying to be an asshole, you're definitely not good at it.
I think I didn't
You
like
know,
it because I watched his interview with Chris Van Vliet,
yeah,
and Chris Van Vliet basically asked him about his feud with The Rock, and John Cena was, "Yeah, I was supposed to turn heel in WrestleMania Part 2 with The Rock, and Vince didn't like it. I couldn't turn heel. Vince wanted me to turn heel. It didn't happen. So it was supposed to happen in 2013 in WrestleMania 2 Part 2 when he won the championship from The Rock. That was his heel turn moment. Was WrestleMania, and Vince McMahon told him no. So it was supposed to happen a decade ago, over 20 years ago. It was supposed to happen, but it never did. 2013
yeah.
came and went, and Cena was a baby face. Then it was baby face. Now, before 2025, when he turned heel and sided with The Rock, which I thought, oh, we're going to get Rock and Cena Part 3 for the final time. Nope. The Rock was like, "You're gonna turn heel, and I'm gonna leave because I'm making him a one live action, and I can't be here to fight you again because we had 2 5-star matches in 2011 and 2013." I was like, "Why? Why is The Rock involved with this?" And then have him just feud with Cody for no reason, win the title, and lose the title again, just to not have The Rock involved after that. I mean, we've talked about it on this podcast before during the retirement tour after he turned heel at Elimination Chamber. We were like, where was The Rock plug into this? And it was nowhere after that. It was like Elimination Chamber, The Rock, and then nothing after that. It's like, so it felt like John Cena was meant to turn heel in 2013 when he fought The Rock at WrestleMania. I think it was in New Jersey the second time. And I thought that was the moment. I thought that was the time. He's going to turn heel. The Rock is going to be a babyface for a little bit. But no. Vince scrapped the idea and made John Cena a babyface for the next 10 years. So overall, I think Cena's career has been fantastic. I think he's won everything he can. And I do think when he's a Hall of Famer, which he will be first ballot, I have no doubt that he won't be. If WWE makes him anything more other than his first ballot, they are dumb and should reevaluate everything. He's a Grand Slam champion. He's a multi-tag team champion. He's had multiple matches of the year. You know, that his match against AJ Styles, the U.S. Championship, and for the WWE Championship were 2 4 to 5-star matches. I loved both of them. His match against The Rock was great. His feud with The Undertaker was fun. He's had some 5-star matches. And WWE looks at that resume, but he's not a Hall of Famer. TKO and Triple H needs to listen to us because he needs to be first ballot at any point in time because he needs to be eligible for that. Am I sad he's retired? Yes. But do I think it was time for John Cena? Yes. He's in his late 40s. He's in the more movies now. He was not on the scene as much. He returned in 2021 to fight Roman Reigns for the championship Money in the Bank. He came back. So he's been away a lot in the movie industry, making Peacemaker and making all these movies that he's kind of been the WWE Hollywood transition like Batista was, and now The Rock seemingly going to, and Cody Rhodes now, Roman Reigns are now with the Street Fighter movie next year coming out, the live action. They're both in it. So it feels like these older wrestlers are going to go on the trajectory of wrestling and then retiring and being in the movie industry. Because we've seen it. All the crappy 2000 movies with all the wrestlers on the planet in them. And it's now becoming major. Everyone over the age of 40 are going to be in movies. LA Knight, hell, is in the Slim Jim commercial with Jey Uso. And he's talking about slapping into a Slim Jim because he's in his late 30s. He doesn't have a championship because they refuse to push him and give him a fucking championship. No matter how many times I plead for it, they won't. Cobra knows. I pleaded like 5 times in this podcast to give him a championship.
And you're not the only one who has demanded that LA Knight, gets a championship. It gets a WWE championship.
Oh yeah, so I do think Cena's career is Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame, regardless of what anyone says. And if Triple H looks at that resume and says he doesn't deserve that, then Triple H should not be in the Hall of Fame because of his arrogance towards arguably the man who built the company, the man who threw the company on his back for the majority of the mid 2000s. Because don't get me wrong, the 2000s were good for wrestling, but my God, the Divas era ruined it. The Nexus ruined it for me. There were so many bad feuds and so many terrible championship runs. And yes, I'm talking about you, Jinder Mahal, with your stupid championship reign in 2016.
Hey! Don't hinder the gender.
I will. The Canadian pushed Indian wrestler? Come on now. What are we talking about here?
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, like John Cena carried the bulk of the mid 2000s with The Rock, with AJ Styles.
You were talking about how John Cena should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Considering that as of right now, we only know of one person in this year's WWE Hall of Fame, or going into this next year's WWE Hall of Fame, being Stephanie McMahon.
I thought Michelle McCool was
No, Michelle McCool's already
No?
been in it. She was in it
Oh,
last year. She's in it last year.
we haven't talked about
You
it in a
know.
long time. There's so many stupid rumors.
Yeah, but as of right now, all we know is that Stephanie McMahon is going into the Hall of Fame this next year. And so WWE needs to do something to kind of right the balance, if that makes sense. You
Oh my
know,
god, they're
for
gonna have him induct him. Sorry, I'm reading rumors that they want famous women respecter Vince McMahon to induct John Cena if he's the headliner of the Hall of Fame class next year.
no, no. If you're going to have anyone induct John Cena into the WWE Hall of Fame,
Kurt
there's
Angle.
only exactly there's only one man for the job, and he has intensity, he has integrity, and he has intelligence. That is Kurt Angle.
The man who built John Cena's career when he slapped him in the face and said, "What do you have to beat me?" That's right, ruthless aggression, and then
It
proceeded
what?
to almost beat Kurt Angle in his debut.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you want someone that helped get his foot in the door, there you go. There you go. Kurt Angle. It's right there. He's right there. He's too good. You know. I mean, it can't be Mick Foley because Mick
But
Foley is completely done with WWE until they stop supporting Pumpkin Spice Palpatine. Yeah. Mick Foley announced that he is officially done with WWE.
I
Did you
do
see
think
that?
Mick Foley could be a good option too to
He
induct him,
well,
but
Mick Foley wouldn't do it. Mick Foley is completely done with WWE. So I had to say that.
before we ramble and go on too long about John Cena, we can go on all day about John Cena. We do have other things to talk about. We can talk for hours about John Cena and our favorite matches and moments and stuff. We don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. But it was next topic I want to move on to. NXT's Thea Hale battled Blake Monroe last Tuesday for the NXT North American Championship for the women, and in controversy and shocking fashion, by what Blake Monroe said was a mistake by the referee 3 count that she kicked out, Thea Hale is now the NXT North American Women's Champion. Now, I was not able to watch NXT. I would think I was working, but I did see the controversy behind it. And I've seen the video. I do believe the ref counted to 3, and at the time the report was that it was a botch. And the creative team was scrambling behind the scenes to get Monroe back the title because it was not supposed to be her winning. Now, if this is true or not, this is either NXT's fault or the ref actually fucked up and didn't see Monroe shoulder up, which has happened before. We
Mhm.
know WWE has a history of this, especially with the Canadian screw job,
Montreal
Montreal screw
Screwjob.
job. That's the most infamous
Yeah.
referee fuck up on the planet.
But to be fair, that screw up was not a referee decision. That was a Vince McMahon decision and a Shawn Michaels decision, and a top of the brass decision, So, I know that's the Montreal Screwjob. Wasn't a ref decision. But the NXT one, I believe that was entirely ref. That was entirely referee. Not there. I do not know the entire details on the match itself, but it was definitely a botch fest as far as the finish.
Yeah,
Wasn't supposed to go.
according to Blake Monroe, she said that she kicked out before the 3 count, and she should have her title back because it was a mistake by the referees. She pleaded that case, and even when she lost, she was shocked because no one expected it. You think Thea Hale will be pushed to win a major championship like that on a brand that she's been kind of like be in the Chase U shadow of Andre Chase for the bulk of her career in NXT. So I don't think it's going to get resolved. Monroe did go backstage and demand her rematch against her, like the same night it happened. She was like, "You don't deserve that. I should have it back." So according to her, she kicked out before 2 or before 3. She kicked out, but the ref as WWE says, the ref's decision is final unless something steps in, which is usually management. But Ava did not step in, nor did Shawn Michaels. So either this is true or not, it will be very interesting for the next pay per view or leading up to what's happening. So Cody Monroe, she kicked. She
Yeah.
kicked out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not a good look for NXT.
No, because this is the first botch by ref I think in a hot minute of a championship change like this, especially one of a major title. Obviously, the North American Women's Championship isn't as big as the men's, because obviously Ethan Page has the men's title and he put the stupid Canadian logo on the the strap, and I was like, get that logo off that strap, you stupid, get it off.
Yeah.
This is a championship of all North America, not just Canada. So I think it's gonna be fixed. I think Ava will fix it with either a championship rematch and give Monroe back the title, or this is actually true. This is Thea Hale's first major solo title since leaving Chase U and going after this. So this is crazy. I never thought Thea Hale would be in this situation to be a champion like Tatum Paxley when she beat JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship. This is a situation like that. I hope it's true. I love Thea Hale. I think her tag team with Joe Hendry was hilarious. I love both of them together. I think she makes a great North American champion. If true or not, if she loses in 3 months or not, I think it should be a long title reign. Do you think that Monroe will get her rematch at the next pay per view, or do you think this is a permanent thing for Thea Hale? They won't fight in New Year's Evil for the championship.
I think she'll lose it at the pay per view. I mean, not going to sound wrong or mean or anything like that, but I think it should. I think it probably will happen. You know.
Yeah, I think so too. I've said countless times. I'll keep saying it. I think Ava has run NXT probably way better than Shawn Michaels Triple H have been doing in a long time. We've had championships reigns that we didn't know from people. Obviously, with all the AEW talent transitioning to WWE, having all these championships, Blake Monroe, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Cody Rhodes, Trey Cargill, everyone from AEW and WWE has had or currently holds a title of some capacity, which half of them didn't win jack anything in AEW. Obviously, Cody Rhodes was TNT champion, Trey Cargill was TBS champion, but Ricky Saints didn't have a championship in AEW. Ethan Page, I think Ethan Page was briefly the TNT champion.
Yeah.
Like all these talents from AEW didn't hold major titles. But
Yeah.
the one who built that company, Cody Rhodes, is currently the Universal Champion, which we will get
Yeah.
to him later before we wrap the show. I gotta talk about what Nick Aldis said to him. So I think Nick Khan or Tony Khan is ripping his hair out because of how frustrating he is. So apparently he had managed to have gone and booked for Dynamite, but because of WB booked it ahead of him, he was denied. And the fans ripped into him for that because he continues and continues and continues to drive the company into the ground because he cannot run that company with anything.
And the worst part about it is, with AEW and WWE, with AEW, the product is the talent is there, but it is booked like shit. And yet Tony Khan, just received an award from Pro Wrestling, I think, for Pro Wrestling Insider and from other
Yeah, AEW
press.
was
Yeah,
beat
was
out
vote
by WWE.
beat out WWE. Yeah, so he ain't gonna change shit. WWE and TKO, they're not gonna change shit. I mean, their product is great, their talent is great, but it's priced to high hell, and also Triple H, is too busy getting his cheeks clapped by Pumpkin Spice Palpatine to care about what we think, so he's like, all right, we're just gonna keep the prices jacked up so that you can no longer go to, house shows or live events. We're going to price, us working people out. And then we're going to take WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia in 2027 to give you the middle finger, even though we know that Saudi Arabia has produced shit PLEs. So,
and knowing that WWE's WrestleMania promo video is legit, all fucking females, all of them, all females. And you
yeah.
mean to tell me they ever says WrestleMania for Las Vegas next year with all women when they're going to Saudi Arabia, a place that doesn't treat women correctly? That is
Or
asinine.
treat women with the respect that they deserve. They're just now allowing the women's wrestlers to actually compete just now. But I wonder how much blood money they had to give up to actually allow that to even go through.
Because if you look at the past 3 WrestleManias, we're
Yeah.
going Vegas, Vegas,
No,
Saudi.
yeah, Phil. It was Phil.
Money,
We
money,
had,
money.
yeah,
Money, money,
yeah.
money. All of them. High money prices, high in gambling, high in everything. And we're just like, we're going to write it off like it's perfectly fine. That
The
like we
bubbles.
won't go to
The bubble.
London, we won't go to Mexico. We're just going overseas to Saudi. AEW has sold out Wimbledon at Wembley full all in London. And WWE's like, nah, that's fine. We don't need that. Saudi Arabia is where our money's at. No, London is where your money is at too, you stupids. Look at Tony Khan. He's selling at Wembley.
Berlin, Sydney, Tokyo. I mean, they probably wouldn't go to Japan because they won't dare encroach on New Japan Pro Wrestling turf.
Oh yeah, New Japan will wipe the floor with that, man. It's just how it came from there, reluctantly coming from New Japan and TNA to being part of WWE. So
Oh yeah. But all that aside, I mean, I think I hope that that fan apathy from not just WWE and AEW, but from all major sports leagues comes to a screeching halt, and that these companies realize that you need us a lot more than we need you.
definitely agree. I think that's all I have to talk about that before we go on a WrestleMania rant. We always do because of how frustrated we are over it.
Yeah, because it's our
Generally,
dream. It's our dream to want to
Yeah.
go to a WrestleMania. It's our dream. We've always wanted to go to at least one WrestleMania before we die to experience the grandeur and the spectacle that famous women respecter Vince McMahon, would talk about. And guess what? Now we're being priced out of it because we can barely afford shit.
Yeah. So January 4th is coming right around the corner. CM Punk is defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Braun Breaker. CM Punk had a promo to go after Braun Breaker. And oh my God, if you haven't seen the video, I suggest you go watch it. CM Punk ripped into his father and his brother, calling them dumb and dumber. He ripped into Braun Breaker being a one IQ brain celled man, ripped into Bronson Reed making TikToks with Logan Paul because he's a scam artist, and completely destroyed Braun Breaker with his words because we all know CM Punk. He talks with his words and then he does violence against them because he said, "Oh, you wanted to act like a child at War Games? You signed up for war, not childish games with your masked man, leaving and not supporting it." I watched it. I was like, CM Punk, you gotta chill out, man. You gotta calm down because he talked about AJ Lee because Braun Breaker apparently targeted AJ Lee, and CM Punk does not fuck with people going after his wife, and basically told him, "You say that about my wife again, I'm ripping your eyes out and pissing on your IQ brain." So I was like, "Whoa!" Like
CM Punk and Braun Breaker has the potential to be as good as Randy Savage versus DDP in WCW in 1997. It has that level of heat. However, played in the entirely opposite spectrum. The only thing that, would make it, a little bit over the top is if Braun Breaker decided to strike AJ Lee. that would probably go a little bit over the top. But um all I did watch the promo and I'm like, yeah, I expect both Braun Breaker and CM Punk to get even hotter and even better with these promos.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
I do not think they have reached the tip of the iceberg when it comes to their promos, especially against each other. I cannot wait.
We're also talking about CM Punk here, the man who literally sat on the stage with the microphone, roasted John Cena when he went through a table, roasted Vince McMahon, roasted Triple H, and roasted the company was better off being run by Triple H. And as of right now, that is the most truest statement as it was in 2011 than it is right fucking now with his mic drop. He really spoke complete facts because right now, Triple H is running the company probably tenfold better than Vince could ever do. Because Triple H doesn't look at women like pieces of fucking meat. He looks at them like actual performers. He gives them
And
championships.
and yet we are still being priced out of watching the damn thing live, unfortunately. You that's probably the biggest negative about Triple H is that he forgets to see the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is the fans, especially kids, help make the product grow. Vince McMahon, in his absolute evilest state, at least understood that. You know, so that's the big negative on Triple H is that he is pricing us out. But CM Punk, like I said, said earlier, he ain't done. He ain't done.
No.
He's got more. He's got more brewing inside him. He's just waiting for an opportunity for Braun Breaker to, jab at the bear a little bit. Jab a little bit more. Come on, I know you got more, and I cannot wait.
I do have a question to throw out. When do you think CM Punk would realize that he needs to hang up his boots and retire because he came back to AEW and then he left AEW because of his Jungle Perry controversy backstage and then returned to WWE. But he's what, 40, 44 years old, 43 years old? He's getting to that age that his body is going to give out on him way more than he think he is. So do you think he's going to retire soon or do you think he's just going to keep going?
I think he's going to keep going. I think I think CM Punk will keep doing this until he can't do it at a level anymore. You know, I mean, next year we've got 2 retirements coming up. We've got probably 3. With Chris Jericho, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Samoa Joe too.
Yeah.
Forgot about Samoa Joe.
We do have a
So
small Joe because he's too
you know,
concussed to keep going.
yeah, and also, hey, he's got a damn good career coming up. Being in Twisted Metal. You
So
know,
before
so,
we talk about the Max Man, he was revealed when Punk was doing his promo. Time for an ad break. Christmas, guys, is in 4 days. So if you haven't bought your sports lover in your life a gift from Fanatics, do so right now because for a limited time, for another 4 or 3 hours, you can save 60% off. That's right, 60% off your order by using code ELF to get your sports fan ready for the NHL playoffs, for the NBA season, for the WWE WrestleMania next year. Whatever sport you want, it's on screen. You guys see it. Use our link in our bio to get the sports lover in your life whatever you want for them for 60% off. And guys, the playoffs in the NFL is right around the corner, guys. It starts next month. So if your fan is in the playoffs, get them gear right now for Christmas or even for early
Playoffs?
next
What are you
year.
talking about? Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
That's right, coach. The playoffs are right around the corner. And we're all in full swing with hockey and basketball and football and college football, the CFP playoffs starting. So use our link in our bio to get the sports fan in your life something great for this holiday season. Now back to our scheduled programming. As we talk about the mystery masked man that was finally revealed who it was at Survivor Series who attacked CM Punk, and it was revealed to be none other than the second part of A Town Down Under. Austin Theory was revealed as the masked man, shaven head and all, as the possible replacement for Seth Rollins in the Division. What do you think of Austin Theory being confirmed as the masked man who attacked CM Punk in Survivor Series? And do you think this is going to further Theory to be a world champion?
This was not a surprise, Alex. I think everyone and their grandmother, including Jim Cornette, knew it was Austin Theory. This was not a surprise. This was expected. So that's my opinion. This is expected. Don't take any word, taking any away from Austin Theory, but we expected this. This is not big. This was not big.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Austin Theory was a good pick for the masked man. Obviously, him leaving A-Town Down Under with his feud against Grayson Waller at the time, he kind of went into the shadows of WWE. He kind of left the scene for a little bit. We didn't know who it was. Obviously, speculations. Well, Seth Rollins wasn't injured because when he won the championship, CM Punk, he wasn't injured. He faked an injury, which he does. He's done before. And I do think Austin Theory is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Either that's beating CM Punk or going after somebody else. If Braun Breaker doesn't win, I do not think Braun Breaker is going to win on January 4th. I think they're going to let Punk hold the title until Mania, possibly, and have Theory build up that feud to face Mania, or maybe have him win the Chamber to get the automatic bid to CM Punk. It just depends what happens between now and April 2026. But I do like Austin Theory. I thought he was great at NXT. I thought he was a great singles run. His Dynasty Championship one was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Alex.
Yes.
We're having some network issues on your end.
I am?
Yeah, we were having some network issues. Yeah. Yeah, you actually cut out. You actually cut in and out. I did. You were talking about Austin Theory, how,
Okay, I wasn't sure because I know there's a lot of audio outside my room, so I'm trying to talk over it. But yeah, I do. I think this is great for Austin Theory. I think it's a great option. I think it's going to do well for him. That's only if Triple H doesn't bury him again, to get a championship, because he hasn't won a championship since he was tag team champions with Grayson Waller. I think.
Yeah. So hopefully things look up for Austin Theory.
We do have one more thing to talk about. I know we've been dragging this on longer than we should be because a lot to talk about, a lot of big news.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Cody Rhodes is feuding with Drew McIntyre for the WWE Universal Championship once again. And Nick Aldis, the SmackDown GM, told Rhodes on Friday he cannot touch Drew McIntyre or he will have to be stripped of the WWE Championship, as Nick Aldis was interviewing Drew McIntyre at his home, and Cody Rhodes did a Randy Orton and Adam Page and attacked him at his home and forced Nick Aldis' hand of saying to his face, if you touch Drew McIntyre again, I will strip you of that title. And that is the most crazy thing to say to Cody Rhodes, who has battled through everything. I mean everything to get that championship, because obviously he had to fight through Roman Reigns and his little posse to get that championship. And he fought for that hard. McIntyre hasn't been champion since, I kid you not, 2020. He beat Brock Lesnar in the PC during COVID to win that championship for the first time. What do you think of Nick Aldis putting his foot down and telling Rhodes, if you touch him before your match, you will not have the title any longer?
Well, the first things first, I'm getting fucking sick and tired of Drew McIntyre.
I think we all are at this point. He's a crybaby bitch.
We all know there should be only one person who should be going after the WWE title right now, and that is the megastar, L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, it should be L.A. Knight in that spot, not Drew McIntyre. I am getting so sick and tired of Drew McIntyre. He's getting shoved down our throats. But as of Nick Aldis's threat, all I gotta say is, you know, like, you think this fucking scares? You know, if I was Cody Rhodes, I'd be like, you think this fucking scares me?
I mean, his
And
response
and
was, "Oh, what?"
Yeah,
He told the guys, "Oh, what?"
I would literally go, you think you can insult me by saying if I touch Drew McIntyre, you could strip me of this belt? And I would call it a belt right in front of him. You know, insult it. I would actually insult the championship. You know, because, you know, that's what I would do. I would actually insult the championship and say, you know, you can have this belt, but I am the champion. You know, and then beat the absolute crap out of Drew McIntyre with the belt, you know, and destroy the belt.
Oh, definitely.
And then hand it back to Nick Aldis.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. This is Nick Aldis' like first time putting his foot down this heavily on a championship reign under his management in the WWE, because obviously we've seen this time and time again. Is why I referenced other home invasion rivalry feuds. Obviously, Hangman on the Page burned down Swerve Strickland's house. Randy Orton attacked Triple H in his home. John Cena.
Brian Pillman has a gun. Pillman has a gun as Stone Cold invades his home. You know, I'm aging myself.
Yeah, I could list like a whole bunch of home invasions, and Hangman on the Page and Swerve Strickland was probably the greatest one because of the length of the feud they went to with Texas Death Match and how heel both of them were at that time. Because obviously Strickland has never been a babyface, and Hangman is a heavy heel, and he was on high heel alert in that feud with him. Why he burned his house down. I was like, oh my god, Hangman, calm down. So I do think Drew McIntyre is going to get the championship eventually. I think once he's CM Punk's champion, he won't screw him over anymore, because obviously the reason McIntyre is a champion now is because of CM Punk. He screwed him over against Damian Priest when he won. Time and time again, he's screwed over Drew McIntyre, and now he can't because he's champion. Unless he wants to move the Raw and move the SmackDown and be a double champion, it won't happen. So I think Drew is going to get the championship again. I think Cody's reign, not many people are liking it. I'm not sure if it's his promo skills or his defenses haven't been good, but I do like his reign. I like it a lot. I think it's better than what Roman did, because Roman did it with help, and Cody has not won it with help outside of WrestleMania. That was an overbooked match as of itself because of the rules to it was.
Yeah, it was overbooked. It was overbooked.
The bloodline. So
yeah. All right.
But I do think it's a great reign, regardless of what anyone says. Cody, this is his first major championship, because his last one was the IC championship, if I remember correctly, or the tag team championship. So it's been a hot minute for a big championship from him. He's been through the reigns of characters, especially with Stardust and broken nose mask wearing Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. He's been through the reigns.
The dashing Cody Rhodes and the
dashing Cody Rhodes. Yeah. Put a bag over here. You're uglier than him. You can't look attractive like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we have to talk about for today. That's all we have.
There is one thing I want. We don't have to discuss it, but I did want to bring it up.
Shoot.
With one chapter closed with John Cena, another story begins. For those who don't know, the son of legendary wrestler Sting, Stephen Borden Jr., has officially signed a contract with AEW For those who don't remember Stephen Borden, he was at Sting's last match, tag teaming with Darby Allin, with the Young Bucks. It was him and his son Garrett, uh, that were helping to portray different eras of Sting. He represented Wolfpack Sting, the red and black. So it would be very interesting to see where Stephen Borden's career trajectory goes. I am hoping good things for him because he's got a good look. He looks like a taller version of his father, believe it or not. So the hope is that he has a very good career.
Definitely great. Definitely excited to see how that goes. I like to plug other podcasts, the Lapdown and Racing podcast, which the team is missing all viewers for that. Will be coming back, hopefully, really, really soon here to get back into the NASCAR realm. Pass the Pigskin, a college football podcast, all about college football. Dirt and Turf, a baseball podcast. We are excited to come back during spring training. We're definitely excited for that. Biscuit Penalties, our hockey podcast.
Yep.
We're going to be not having an episode this Friday because of Christmas, so we'll be coming back on January 2nd for our New Year's episode of the Biscuit Penalties, when we talk more about the recent trades and the recent mayhem
and the Winter Classic. And the Winter Classic.
In the Winter Classic.
Yeah,
and
the Winter Classic.
Crazy enough, it's in Florida. Why? I don't know. It's in Tampa.
Why not? Why not?
An open stadium in a warm state is going to be hosting the Winter Classic.
It happened before. It's happened before, Alex.
It is true.
The first outdoor game was in Las Vegas.
That is true. The Hard Count, our football podcast, we are excited to get into the week 16 and into week 17 on Saturday. If we are still doing that, if not, we'll be back next Saturday, the 3rd, for that.
Don't forget our TikTok, our Patreon. Don't forget our Spotify or on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Handed Down Sports Media would greatly appreciate all the love. We're trying to get to 100 subs by the end of the year. We're at 93. We just need 7 more people.
Yeah, so if you like all things sports, make sure you smash that subscribe button and stay tuned for all the podcast shenanigans, because we are a crazy bunch of sports fans that love to talk about sports and give you non-gambling advice, because we are professional idiots and don't listen to us about our gambling, because we're going to lose. So don't do that.
Please don't.
But that is the final bell. So ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding.